If you have ever purchased one of these larger containers of basil and accidentally let it go bad in the refrigerator, this video is for you and for me, honestly. Today I'm going to show you two very fast things that you can do to use up all of your basil the first day that you bring it home and give you something nice to eat and drink for the upcoming days. The first thing I'll show you how to make is a very easy basil simple syrup. I use this to sweeten my tea and add a little bit of flavor. You can also use it in any of your hot beverages that you have around the holiday season or whenever. So in your coffee or in your cocktails. So I make a nice bourbon cocktail with this. Only for Christmas. I'm not much of a drinker. But it's so easy to make, and I'm going to show you. So all you need is equal parts water and sugar. And you'll also need a little bit of basil. So from my big package that I just was talking about, I am taking about this much out. So if I said, I think if this was chopped up, it would be like maybe half of a cup. So you can just take out an amount. It doesn't have to be exact. And then I have my equal parts water and sugar. So I have 1 cup of water and then 1 cup of plain granulated sugar. And I am going to use this old spaghetti jar to put my simple syrup in. Now I am going to use my kettle to heat up the water. So let's add the water and let it heat up. While the water is heating up, I'm going to show you this trick that I learned from my mom, who learned from her mother, my grandmother, about helping to ensure that your glass does not break if you put a hot liquid in it. So you just need to get a metal, I'm using a knife, which you can use a spoon or whatever, and you're going to put it into the glass vessel before you put in any hot liquid, right? So I am going to do that. So I'm just going to put my sugar in first to make it a little bit easier. My sugar and my basil. So I'm going to put in my basil into my vessel. This also will be very pretty sitting out on your countertop. So I'm just putting my basil into the jar. And it has been washed already. And now I'll put my sugar into the jar. And now I'll put my knife, or you can use a spoon, it doesn't really matter, into the jar and pour the hot liquid into the jar. And again, this is 1 part sugar, 1 part hot water. So be very careful. Now that this is combined, I am just going to very gently stir to combine or melt the sugar into the warm liquid. And just make sure that you stir until all of the sugar has dissolved. While you're doing this, you will just smell the most amazing basil smell. Basil is seriously one of my favorite scents. And now I have my basil simple syrup. So all I have to do now is put the top on. And notice that I picked this up by the rim and not by the bottom part. This is warm. This part is warm. So now just sit it on your countertop or wherever overnight and let it steep, and then you will be ready to use it tomorrow, the next day. The next thing I'll show you how to make is a simple basil pesto. I think I have demonstrated this before, but I'm just going to show you again. It's so easy and it's so tasty. So for this recipe, you'll need the rest of your basil. So I am just using the rest of what was in the package. You will need some lemon juice. I recommend freshly squeezed lemon juice. You will need some Parmesan cheese. I recommend just grating it yourself. I'm going to use this little OXO grater thing. I'll link it down below in case you're interested. The recipe that I'm following calls for pine nuts, but pine nuts are very expensive and sometimes hard to find. So I am going to use walnuts instead. If you have a little bit extra time, you can also toast the walnuts in a dry pan until you begin to smell them. Let them cool down and then use them in this recipe. I am just going to use them plain straight from the bag and they'll still be delicious. I'm also going to need 3 cloves of garlic and some salt and pepper. And lastly, I'll also need 1/3 of a cup of olive oil. This is just some olive oil I got from Whole Foods or wherever, who knows. But you'll just need some olive oil as well. I am going to use extra virgin olive oil too because this is a sauce and you can kind of taste the quality of the oil because it'll just be, you know, very apparent in your raw sauce. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is to get my lemon juice going. And you only need a teaspoon of fresh lemon juice. It's such a small amount, but I do believe that, you know, taking the extra time to juice the lemon will give you some nice results. I have my little juicer here that I use, and I have a glass and my teaspoon. So I don't think I'll try to be exact, but it'll be close enough. So I rolled my lemon to make it start to release its juice. And I'm just going to juice it into this little glass container until I think it's probably enough. I'm going to stop there. And now I'm going to just smash my garlic cloves to make it a bit easier on my food processor. I forgot to mention I'm using my little mini food processor that I'll also link below in case you're interested. I'm just going to put those just into the little hopper, the bowl right now. And I also need 1/3 of a cup of Parmesan cheese. So I'm just going to grate that directly off this hunk that I bought a little while ago. And I have my 1/3 of a cup measure here to help me start to estimate. You can also chop your Parmesan cheese in the food processor if you have a strong one. So this little food processor is very nice, but it's not the strongest thing. So I am just going to grate the cheese to kind of give the food processor a little break. Oh, I think it's stronger than I realized. So that was faster than I thought it would go. Just getting out that aggression, grating my Parmesan cheese. So, and look at that, almost perfectly 1/3 of a cup. So I have my 1/3 of a cup of Parmesan cheese. And now I have my salt and my pepper. And now we're almost ready to go. The last thing I'm going to do is just gently chop up the basil just a little bit. I actually just leave in the stems. You can chop them off if you would like, but I don't really like to waste it. So I just chop the stems a little bit to kind of help things move along in the food processor. So I have my food processor ready. So I'm going to add in all of my basil. And at this point, I'm also going to add in the salt. So I need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. And that'll be close enough. I'm going to add in the 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. And this is very close. No, I won't do that. Stick to the recipe. I'm going to stick to the recipe. So I'm going to add in my basil. So I have my salt, and I'm going to add my pepper. And I'm just putting some amount, just a little bit of pepper into it. Ooh, that smells so good. They're freshly cracked. So now I have my pepper, and then you also need 1/3 cup of olive oil. So even though olive oil is a liquid, I'm just going to cheat and use this dry measure. And I feel like things will still be okay. And this is a lot of olive oil, so I definitely recommend using the best that you can find. I forgot about my nuts, y'all. You also need 1/3 cup of the walnuts. So I finished off this bag. I had one bag that was already open. So I'm just gonna finish off that bag and add a few more from this new bag, just so I can kind of have a full 1/3 cup. And now we are ready. So I've added in my nuts. I made a little bit of a mess, not too bad. And then we just pulse it together. Let's go for it. So after you let it process for a little while, I do recommend just getting a little small spatula in there and wiping down the sides and then turning it back on. And I like mine pretty finely processed, so I'm just going to go one more time. And that is it. So you can just take a little taste of your pesto. Perfection. Perfection. Oh my God, it's so good. It is so good. So good. Oh my gosh, so good. So now I'm just taking my fresh pesto. I like to serve this with grilled chicken, fish, like literally anything. Pasta, of course, like a nice little grilled piece of chicken with some pasta, and just with like some tomatoes, either mixed into the sauce or on the side. And then add the pesto to some cream. So easy, so done, yes. All right, so this is our final pesto. It looks great. I'm just gonna store it in this nice glass bowl in my refrigerator and enjoy. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode of the Basic Ass Cooking Show. I forgot to welcome you to the show when this started, but sorry about that. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope you'll come back and subscribe, share this with a friend, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.